truth is almost no small business owner is getting help no matter where they're from. Right. It's one of the hardest things to do, and it's one of the hardest things to be. But already, if you're a minority business owner, there's already certain things, headwinds you have to deal with that are different than some other business owners. And you and I are working together to identify those headwinds and to create tailwinds for those people. Talk a little bit about what you're excited about when it comes to us helping these minority business owners.
You know, this. Let me tell you why this is really good, right? So, when you walk in training camps, the people with the starting jobs, everybody's excited about. The people that you're not excited about is your walk-ons, free agents. Every entrepreneur struggles like a free agent struggles. How do we figure it out? How do we get it? Out of all the people I spend time with, I spend more time with free agents and walk-ons. Because if I could develop them, y'all don't think they're going to help us? But you see how hard he practiced against you in practice? And we just gave him $1,500 to be here for 6 weeks. That entrepreneur is what thrives now the next target. How do we take those entrepreneurs and let that light come on? It's the most exciting thing ever when you can see your business. And trust me, I've done a lot of business and I failed miserably in many. But the ones I accomplished, it's because of what I had with me. And that's what I think, for me, even when you talk to them, most of them are just looking for direction. Give me some direction. Once you're able to direct them, then you walk them into a room where the room we just walked out of.
Yep.
Right? The sponges, pens and pads, everybody's on the table, right? It's like, that's it. That's the exciting part. Where I tell my friend all the time, I'm like, bro, how do we change people's perspective about life, period, about business? How do you change people's perspective in business? See, the locker room teaches a different lesson when you think about business. We can't walk in there complaining every day. You have to get something done. Why? Because if you don't get it done, somebody else is going to get it done. Well, an entrepreneur got to think the exact same way.
Right.
Somebody going to do it. So you have to do it. I tell my sons all the time, stop waiting for everybody else to do what you need to do.
Right.
You got to do some homework. You got to do some research. You got to do some reading. You're right. Because once you give it to them, they never leave you. Like social media, it's worse ever. But social media, from a connectability thing, on how people can reach out to you that you touched 20 years ago. One of the greatest stories ever about business, entrepreneur. This homeless guy. He was always on the Baltimore's Bridge every day. And I saw him, and on the way to the game, it was one path. And one day, I'm on the way to the game, and I see him there. And I know that they're using drugs, they're doing all that stuff, and they're struggling, whatever. And I pull out $100. I usually get 10, 20, whatever. And I pull out $100, and he walks up to me. And his head is down, because he's embarrassed. And I say, look up. Look at me. And he looked at me. And he started shivering. No way. There's no way Ray Lewis stopped to see me. I put up the 100 like this. He grabbed it and I grabbed his hand. I said, promise me that you don't use this for drugs.
That's big.
Promise me that you use this for the right thing. That guy took that $100, went to one friend. He owns a church. He's a pastor now. He's married and has has his own business and tells that story every other week in church. If you give an entrepreneur the right direction, you give them the accountability to say, you can't do this, because I can give my money to somebody else. Most entrepreneurs need to be taught like free agents. You have the same opportunity. I know he's starting, because that was my story my whole life. Somebody's in front of me. Entrepreneurs must think as the boss. I stopped being attracted to players' contracts. I got ready to sign my second deal. And it's like, we're going to make you the highest paid defense player ever. I was like, that's amazing. Great. My agent was like, why are you not excited? Because if he's paying me, I want to know where he gets his money from. So as an entrepreneur, you have to change the vision. Because if you don't, you're going to have the same problems that we fix, that you guys fix right now. Yep. Right? The everyday housekeeping problems you're going to have unless you change the vision. And most of the times that a problem.
You know what he just said? That was just, I don't want that to go over my head. He said, they told me that they was going to make me the highest paid athlete. And I said, okay, that's amazing. And so his agent said, why are you not excited? He said, well, if he could pay me that kind of money, how is he getting his money? So you got to be thinking like a boss to be an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. How did you get where you got so I could get there? So, because how about if I could pay myself, what you going to pay me? If you could pay me $65 million, that means, you know, you getting double and triple of that. I want to get to that level. So that was very big right there for him to speak on that, you know, as an entrepreneur, you know. But the video got cut off on last one, and I forgot where I stopped at. I think he was just talking about coming through the hood and the life challenges and choices that you can make. You know, he was like, I could have sold drugs, but you know, when you looking at your mother struggling, you drugs does help just for a minute. That fast money that you can get, it helps keep the lights on, put food in the house. You can buy a few outfits, buy a nice car, but you continuously looking over your shoulder. People in your crew, once you on your rides, you looking at who can you trust, who out to get you, the rival crews that's out there, plus the feds, the police. It's just too much to deal with. But let me say this. Let me say this. I really believe that I think people always try their hand, but people continue to do things when they feel it's no other alternative. You get what I'm saying? I was instilled in me early on that you have options, explore your options. Don't be limited and restricted. I'm that person that I was always down to do everything because I'm curious. What's that? How you do that? What's this? How you do this? I was that guy. So when you're very curious about everything, basically being nosy, I've been told over and over, you're very nosy. And I'm like, well, you know, I don't mean no disrespect. I just like to be in the know, and so I really repeat this over and over. When Marion Barry from DC started the Summer Youth Program, Mayor Marion Barry, that was an option from going in the streets or taking, as they say now, the pack. You know, that summer program job, people that took that job under the Marion Barry program. I mean, I ain't really know it at the time, so I ain't gonna act like I had it figured out because I didn't. All I know was you gonna get paid, and then we didn't even know what the job was. It was a variations of different jobs, and in different parts of the city, they had different things going on. So I lived on the south side, southeast DC, on the Navy Yard side, even though I did grow up on the Anacostia side, but we moved to the Navy Yard side of southeast. And so again, for each sections of the city, they had different type of summer jobs. So the summer job that I was assigned to was over at Fletcher Johnson middle school, and that summer job consisted on learning about life skills. So we'll show up every day, and the instructors, the professors, the summer youth employees that were training us and giving us the education on life skills, which consist of interviewing skills, um, how to build a resume, and what else? How to present yourself, how to talk, how to build your self esteem, how to look at people in the eye when you talk to them. When you enter a room, how you greet people, you shake their hand, be full of energy and not humdrum with your head there, and how to talk, how to be respectful and presentable. So these were the life skills that we were getting that year that I attended that summer job, you know, and it was awesome, great people. So, but the kicker was when I got that check, that first summer job check. It was game changer to me. I'm 14 years old, 13, 14. Yeah, we was 14. With $200 in my pocket in 1984. Trust me, I thought I was rich. That's the most money I ever had. That was my money in my pocket. I took that money home and I was trying to give my mother some money. I didn't know what I wanted to give her or what she would take. My mother said, "No, that's your money." She said, "The game done changed now." I said, "What you mean?" She say you buy your own school clothes and your own shoes for school. Did you know how big that independence felt? I was like, my chest was, I was like, what? Are you serious? I ain't gotta wear the stuff you buying me. I mean, like, it was cool, but it wasn't nothing I really wanted. But we couldn't afford what I really wanted, so you dealt with it, right? You mean tell me I can go buy what I want and not what you want me to wear? She was like, yeah, everything in reasoning. You ain't gonna be buying nothing crazy. I'm like, all right, cool. Man, my guys on the block with probably 1,000 in their pocket, and I was walking around with 200 like I had 1,000. That's how strong that independence felt. You get what I'm saying? And the light bulb clicked. Say, I ain't gotta be on the block. This way is that. I'm a person that analyze. I was taught to analyze and listen. I say, okay, now if I work, I get a check every 2 weeks. Guaranteed money. I'm safe. I'm gonna make it home at night. And I ain't gonna be in nobody's jail if I get caught. It's nothing to get caught about when you go into a job. When you done learned the skill set and you're earning your money. Ain't nothing for the feds to bother you about. So that's one thing that me and my guys that wasn't in the life, we was like, man, we could do this. Then you analyzing, okay, the guys on the block, my guys, good guys, but they started early, 12, 13, and it was usually their people that put them on, a cousin, older brother, or uncle, and, you know, 12, 13, 11. Because when kids get caught up, they let them out. So it wasn't no fear to get out there in the game. So I'm one of the fortunate ones that I had a father that was in the game, a G out here in these streets. And it was like, well, you ain't doing this. You're going to do better. You're going to get a job. You're going to go to school. You're going to go to college. You're going to be the better version of me. So I had pops on my back. Then I had a mother and I had a grandmother that was always in my ear, building me up, my confidence and my strength, far as do the right thing. Like my mother be on the tip, like, it's nothing that we need that needs you to put your life at jeopardy of being in the street. We don't have much of nothing. Cause my mother and father broke up about time I was like 10, something like that. But I had my dad in the house from maybe birth up to maybe 7. So I got the early teachers and the grounding that he laid down. And just being around him and see him move and getting that man advice, watching a man be a man. I had that. So I got 3 structures teaching me. Dad, mom's, then grandma's she was keeping it real, very instrumental. She the one brought God in my life, the faith. So I'm getting game and structure from pops. I'm getting the love from moms, and I'm getting my faith from grandma. All this is intertwining in me in one time. So So about time, well, I dared not to get on the block because my father wasn't having it. So when that summer job came along, that I was like, boom, that's gonna be how I'm gonna get my money. Because let's say like this, growing up poor, you don't have what you want, but you have what you need. I had a big family, so therefore we threw nothing away. Shoes, clothes. By the time you outgrew whatever, you cleaned it up and it was passed on to who was behind you. So that's been my whole forte. So that's why I adopted the fact that, and I say, I always had what I need, but I ain't never had what I wanted. You only got what you wanted when it was Christmas and your birthday. You got good grades, you get rewarded. Nowadays, we buy our kids things just because we want them to have a better life, and that's okay. But you gotta let them know you gotta earn what I give you. You just not getting it just to be getting it. So earning it is take the trash out, mow that lawn, keep your room clean. You get what I'm saying? Good grades, behavior. So when you doing all that, I don't mind treating you and rewarding you. But a lot of us, because we came up with nothing, we want to overcompensate to our kids. And sometimes that's not a good thing. So I credit me not getting in the streets like a lot of my friends did because I had them three people in my life that were talking to me and making sure I did what I was supposed to do. Because nowadays, I see a lot of kids unattended. They roaming, they doing what they want at a young age 10, 11, 12, 13. I must say, when my parents split up, I kind of became independent around 16. Real talk, my mother wasn't able to keep up with me and what I was doing and what I wasn't doing. Luckily, I had the structure early on, the do's and the don'ts. So 90% of the time, I was a good kid, but I was around the element, seeing things. And if I didn't have the strong structure that I had, I would have been easily enticed looking at the wad of money my friends had. Like, man, why you got this little summer job when you could be getting this paper? I'm like, I'm good, bro. That's money I earned, you know? So I was on a I was on the tip. I'm like, you got money, I got money. You just got a little more. I'm good. I ain't gotta ask you or nobody else for nothing, not even my mom's, you know. So that's how I was. That's how strong and independent I was feeling from that check. And I always say, whatever you do early on, you're gonna wind up doing it later on in life. You get what I'm saying? So my dudes on the block that was on the block at 10, it followed them later on in life because they got bit by the bug of having money. So they'll tell you quick, I don't want no job. I gotta wait 2 weeks for a check. And then it be short money. I ain't doing that, you know. So them habits are hard to break until you go through something. going through something like getting shot, going through something like having to shoot somebody,